Hello. Welcome to this squat mobility improvement session. If you are someone who feels you've got some issues in your ankles, in your knees, you've got some stiff hips, and you can't squat the way you want to squat deeper, you want to get more flexibility, then this is the perfect routine. And I put these exercises together, and over time you will see you will get better and more flexibility by doing those exercises regularly. What's really important is once you got the form, once you got the flexibility, it's really easy to maintain it. But if you don't have the flexibility, it's much harder to get into it. But once you've got it, it's really easy to maintain. So it takes more effort to get it back, but once you've got it, easy to maintain. Cool. I'm excited in taking you through that program. Grab a bottle of water, and the sun is coming out. Perfect. And I see you in a minute. What's really important is that you got a lot of strength in your hip flexor. In order to improve the strength in your hip flexor, I'm going to start with a very simple exercise. We're basically just going to lift the knee in a straight motion, up and down. And you want to keep your back straight, and you want to lift your knee completely straight. And you make sure that your knee is not drifting off to the side. The other leg, you keep straight. Your back, you keep straight. And you lift up that knee. Hold it there for 2 seconds and then bring it down. Down and up, and lift the knee up as high as you can. And you repeat that 10 times on each side. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. 5. 6. 7. This would be as high as I can. 8. 9. And 10. What you really want to do, you do that on the other side, 10 times on that side, 10 times on that side, and then you repeat it once. And then you move on to the next exercise. So 10 times here, 10 times there. What's crucial, keep your back straight, lift up the knee as high as you can, up and down. And hold it there for 2-3 seconds. Try to increase the range and maintain the form. Cool, that was exercise number 1. Let's go to exercise number 2. Exercise number 2, very similar, but you do it lying on the floor with a flat back. You choose a low resistance stretch band. Really make sure it's low resistance, that it's not too hard to stretch. And once you improve in that exercise, you increase the strength of that band. All right, you put the band on your feet, like that. Then you lie down and stretch. And then you drive your knee towards you and hold it there for 2 seconds and back. 1 and 2. And make sure that the knee is coming back straight. And you repeat that 10 times on each side. And my resistance band is probably a tick too strong. And I should choose one which has less resistance. But I haven't got another one at the moment. All right. Then you give it a bit of a break, 20 seconds, and then you swap over to the other leg and repeat that exercise. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. That was exercise number 2. Let's move to exercise number 3. As we've now woken up the hip flexor, everything is warmed up. We are moving to one of my favorite exercises, the glute bridge. And we are using a very specific glute bridge for this one. Which means we are lying down. We place the heels on the ground, we lift our toes, and what's always important with glute bridges, that we drive solely through our heels. That's why we are lifting up the toes. What we do now is we pull one leg towards us and we drive through the heels. We place the head on the ground and we drive the pelvis up into the sky, or if you're indoors, towards the ceiling. And you push through the heel. You go down and you go up. And there you hold it for 2 seconds. And we repeat that 8 to 10 times. And 2. And I close the eyes to really feel the glute engaging. You can bring back, the more you bring back that knee and bring it back to the chest, the more you'll feel it in your glute and in your thighs, in your hamstrings. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and don't rush into that exercise. Take your time. 10. All right. 20 seconds of rest. I change over the side. I bring this leg towards me. Drive through the heel. I pull my toes up and I bring my knee back to the chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring that pelvis up. pelvis. You need to drive towards the ceiling. 6, 7, 8. If you feel you're cramping, just try to work through the cramps. 9 and 10. And hold it there for 1, 2, and 3 seconds. Perfect. And that was exercise number 3. Let's move to exercise number 4. Exercise number 4 is the classical side plank. The side plank will give you heaps of mobility, heaps of more flexibility and mobility in your hip joints. It's important with the side plank is that you drive your hip this way. You extend your neck so you've got a straight line and you hold into that position. If you like, you can raise that arm. I personally prefer to do side planks this way, but if you prefer, have that arm raised and stay there for 30, 35 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, as long as you can stay, and make sure you push your pelvis forward and you have this straight line, and you do it on each side 30, 35, 40, 45 or 50 seconds, and you will see over time you will increase that. And you change over sides. And you do it on the other side. You check, is your neck straight? Is your hip pushed forward? Is that a straight line? Lift up the arm or don't, or just stay there. For 30 seconds. And increase this range. All right, that's it. Moving on to the next exercise. All right, welcome to the next exercise. We are now starting to rotate the hips. Most people don't spend enough time on the internal, the hip internal rotations, hip internal rotation exercises. We start with the first ones, which is the seated hip internal rotation. So you take your hands, you put them to the side, you open up your legs, and what we do, we just gently, and you can start rotating your pelvis very openly. So you just gently start rotating the pelvis to one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do 10 times on each side. 5, 6, 7, and you just follow your pelvis to each side in the first exercise. 3, 4, 5, 6, and we do 10 on each side. If you really feel comfortable with that, feel free to do more, because it really opens up your hip and it's a really nice feel. After that, you can start in keeping the pelvis more straight. So you are not rotating as much with the hips as before, but you flex into the hip here. So you'd bring your knees over there and you flex into it Hold it there for 2 seconds and you do the same thing on the other side. And you will feel one side is more flexible than the other. Bring your arms a little bit closer to keep your upper body more straight. We do that 10 times on each side. As you can see, I really enjoy that exercise because it really opens up my hips. And the more I do it, the more flexible I get. Look at this flex which I've got now. Just like a minute ago I had less. Just lean into it and hold it there a little. But don't push yourself in, pull yourself in. Use the hip flexor. All right, that was this one. Before we are moving, and let's move into the next one. The next one is the squatted version of the hip internal rotation. So we get into a squat, and you might struggle with that. And don't worry if you are not there yet, you just leave that exercise. But what you do in the beginning, you're rotating your upper body with it, your pelvis with it. Then you do 10 onto each side. And once you've mastered that, you do the same exercise and you keep your upper body straight without rotating. You push into it. And you can stay there a little. And you repeat that 10 times. All right, let's move into the next one. Next exercise we do is focusing on calf. So the next 2 exercises are focused on calf stretch. And we need for the next exercise just a simple chair. And there are 3 ways you can stretch your calf in that exercise. One is forward, which is simply straight forward, like that. The other one is inward, towards your big toe. And the next one is outward. And find out which one you need most. And you simply wanna stretch in there 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. I'm going into the forward and I stay there for 1.5 minutes. If I want to go into the inward, I lean a little bit inward towards my big toe. And I stay there for 1 to 5 minutes. And outward to my little toe. That would give you the full stretch in your calf. All right, the next exercise is I need a wall, and I'm just setting up so you can see it perfectly, and I'll guide you through that exercise. So I basically need a wall to see how much flex do I need. So I'm setting up here, and the trick is how far can I bring my knee towards the wall without lifting my heel. So this is kind of for me the perfect distance. I push down the heel, I get to the wall, and I go straight towards the wall. And I push this heel down. It's really pushing it. If I'm too close, I'm not getting enough flex. If I'm too far, I'm not getting towards the wall. Even here, it's too far. You see my heel is lifting off. So I need to slide towards it, and I hold it there for 1.5 minutes. And I do that obviously with both feet. All right, this is a really nice stretch. All right, now we are getting into strengthening our chins, the tibias anteriors. And we do this in 2 ways, and you probably want to choose a spot where you can hold on to something for more stability. There are 2 motions. One is forward and backwards, forward and backwards. And the other one is sideways. 1, 2. Want to do this like 10 times, and you can hold on to it if you need a little bit of more stability. Lean back and lean back, forward, and it's this rocking motion. And sideways. Also 10 times. All right, and let's move now into the final exercise. And I'm going to change the camera position for that. All right, then the last one is the overhead squat. It's one of my favorite ones. Straighten your arms. You really spread out your legs nicely. Point the toes. Lift up your arms and load your heels. And you can do 20 of those squats, or you do 3 times 10. 3 times 10 is probably get into the squat. But once you've done 10, after you've done 10, you're gonna stay in that position as low as you can go for 20 seconds and explore the range. Keep those arms up there, and you stay there for 20 seconds, and then you go up. And then you have a short break. And here you can see probably better. And then you repeat that. Arms up. Get into the squat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And at the last one, I just stay there for 20 seconds and I explore more range. I put more load on my heels. Another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, and up. And that's it. And if you can do this program 3 times a week, it will increase your hip mobility incredibly. All right, enjoy, have fun, and I see you in the water.